Welcome to Parallel Universe. For decades, Richard Gere was known as one of Hollywood's most charming and sophisticated leading men. The kind of star who seemed to live entirely in the spotlight, red carpets, iconic films, and global fame. But behind that polished image, there was another side of his life unfolding quietly, far away from cameras and headlines. A life so different, so deeply personal, that many fans are only now beginning to understand it. And once you see both sides, the story feels almost like a double life that lasted for decades. Richard Gere rose to worldwide fame with unforgettable roles in films like Pretty Woman and An Officer and a Gentleman. With his effortless charisma and calm screen presence, he became one of the most recognizable actors of his generation. His net worth grew into the hundreds of millions, and his career spanned decades of success. To the public, he was the definition of a Hollywood icon, stylish, confident, and always in control. But while audiences were watching his life on screen, Gere was quietly building something very different off-screen. For over 30 years, he has been deeply involved in humanitarian work and spiritual practice, particularly through his connection to Dalai Lama and the teachings of Tibetan Buddhism. Long before it became widely discussed, Gere was dedicating his time, energy, and resources to causes that had nothing to do with fame or entertainment. His advocacy for Tibet and human rights became one of the most defining parts of his personal life. In fact, his outspoken support led to real consequences in Hollywood, including limited opportunities in certain international markets. But Gere never stepped back from those beliefs. Instead, he continued supporting organizations like the International Campaign for Tibet, using his platform to raise awareness about issues most actors rarely touch. At the same time, his personal life went through its own evolution. Gere has been married 3 times, most recently to Alejandra Silva, with whom he shares a quieter, more family-focused lifestyle. As he's grown older, his priorities have shifted even further away from Hollywood's fast pace. He now spends more time focusing on family, philanthropy, and spiritual reflection than chasing major film roles. What makes this story feel like a double life isn't secrecy in a negative sense. It's the contrast. On one side, you have the global movie star, red carpets, iconic performances, and decades of fame. On the other, a deeply spiritual individual committed to meditation, humanitarian work, and a cause bigger than himself. For years, those two worlds existed side by side, but only one was visible to most people. In recent years, as Gere has spoken more openly about his beliefs and priorities, fans have started to see the full picture. The Hollywood legend they admired was also someone who had quietly dedicated his life to something far deeper. And in many ways, that hidden side may be even more meaningful than the roles that made him famous. Because sometimes, the most fascinating thing about a celebrity isn't what they show the world. It's what they choose to protect, nurture, and live quietly, far away from the spotlight.